kind of also a nice thing about using these like online workspaces, is that you can kind of set up like templates and post-it notes and different like gathering places to document the process. And then at the end, you have all of it right there. It wasn't just like a conversation. It was also like kind of capturing that conversation through the different tools available to you.
So from your experience, what are some benefits when people do employ experience practices to improve their products, to improve their processes? What do they get out of it? Like, what's the benefit?
So it's kind of twofold, really. You know, we've talked a little bit about like the soft skills around facilitation and collaboration and how those are really elemental to driving a digital transformation. And so I think oftentimes, you know, we overlook the importance of making sure that everybody in the room feels heard and that you're breaking down silos in your organization so that your marketing team and your design team and your e-commerce team, they're all kind of aligned around like we're creating something for the same person, the same type of user. You know, we all have like the same understanding of what the problems are, even though like our different skills might bring different perspectives. You know, a marketing team is probably going to have a slightly different worldview about how marketing and their customer connect versus like the design team and the user. But it's all the same kind of type of person that you're designing for. So I think like being able to align across teams is a really critical part of having a user experience practice. On the sort of outside in approach, you're getting data from real customers, and that's just crucial. I mean, the whole landscape of the internet and digital transformation has really brought this to the forefront, and the most technologically driven companies understand that. There's two types of data. You've got the stuff that's coming from data science, the quantitative data, where you've got just massive amounts of information about what people are doing on your platform. But you also need this anecdotal part, the why. Why are people doing this? Why are they clicking in certain ways? And you just can't get that unless you're actually speaking to people. You're going out there, you're having them look at your product. And that can be, on the more formal end, where you have like a user research team, like something you might see at Bloomberg, right? Where you have a really complex technological system. So you need dedicated people with a really specific skill set, to something that's much more low end that you might see more in like the e-commerce space, where you may literally just like walk over to like your customer support team and say like, hey, we're launching a new feature. Can I watch you try and use it? Really simple. That only takes like 15 minutes. You put your phone in their lap, or you do a screen share and send them to a URL where they can like kind of practice it. And then you watch them do it and just ask really simple questions. Like that doesn't cost any money. And it's a really great way to just gather some like basic insights about like whether or not what you're designing is usable, whether it makes sense to people, whether you're getting the copy and like sort of the prompts to move them through the process, whether you're getting all of that right. Some of the benefits of a digital workshop, obviously they're online. I've mentioned that the tools have gotten really great. I actually attended a mini conference earlier this week that was run out of Berlin, and they had really accessible breakout rooms. There was sort of a centralized main stage. There was like a global chat, and then there were chat rooms for each breakout room. And it was just really easy to kind of move between the spaces and toggle your video on and off so that you could kind of participate the way that was best for you. And it was like a 3-hour workshop, and it was really engaging for the entire time, even though like I was still kind of multitasking and everything while like responding to emails and planning my day. I was still kind of also participating in this workshop, and I thought that was really neat that they just made it so easy. Having a really strongly structured online workplace also helps people feel like their time is valued. That was the nice thing about this workshop as well, is that it was so well set up. They had like the schedule was sort of broken up into these like 25 to 40 minute time spans, and everything was really effective. And I felt like coming out of each breakout session that, I had a chance to contribute. We were working in like online documents like Mural and Google Docs to kind of track the information. So it was easy to stay oriented if I got distracted for a minute. So this like structured element also I think is really helpful, because you can move through a lot of stuff in a really short amount of time. So you can prompt some really effective conversations using things like Mural, using things like digital breakout rooms to kind of help people get their ideas out, but then also see like visual components of that documentation through like digital post-it notes and things like that. And then at the end, you want these workshops to be conclusive, right? Like there should be some sort of path forward, some sort of general sense of like the potential solutions that you're going to move forward with. And so that's kind of also a nice thing about using these like online workspaces, is that you can kind of set up like templates and post-it notes and different like gathering places to document the process. And then at the end, you have all of it right there. It wasn't just like a conversation. It was also like kind of capturing that conversation through the different tools available to you. So we've talked a lot about like how important it is just to like create places for play in the workspace. And I think that's one of like the great benefits when you're stuck on a project, when you're feeling really frustrated with the people around you, when you're maybe a little overwhelmed, you're just not sure how to move forward. You've had the same problem on your back burner for a while. Like a workshop is great because it creates a really like time box place where you can get unstuck, play a little bit, kind of feel creative. My experience with creativity is like it's a muscle. You have to exercise it. Being creative, if you're not doing it very often, can be very difficult to sort of like build momentum on. It can be very uncomfortable at times. And so workshop is a great way to kind of have somebody who's experienced with running workshops, with helping people feel creative, come along and like run some icebreakers and just make it feel inclusive and engaging. And that's a really critical part of like the workshop experience.